So in our last video, we referenced about trust building, but what happens when your trust is broken? Like, what happened when we were at ground zero, when Tate had broken my trust, and how did we ever get to where we could start the relationship building, the trust building process? We just kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit.
I think probably the first step is just to realize where you are and just accept it just fully without trying to hide. Again, going back to the being vulnerable, being transparent, just being where you are. This is where we are.
The reality of it is
I no longer have your trust in this area.
Right, I no longer trust you as the one whose trust has been broken. You just have to receive that reality. I don't trust you. I don't have your trust.
That was really, really hard for me to accept. But once I was able to get there and accept it and just be like, okay, it's just a reality. It's not like
a life sentence.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, that's good. It's not a life sentence.
Yeah.
It's not a life, it can feel like a crisis for sure, but it's not like, it doesn't define you either. You know, it's not who you are. It's not,
and this is not to downplay it. Trust, of course, is very important and very precious.
Very
it's
important,
not
extremely.
that,
but it doesn't, it doesn't define a person. So a part of like learning how to heal from that is just letting go the desire to have her trust. Okay, I don't want to force this. I just want to let, trust has to be built back up. It has to grow organically. It has to grow organically, so it can't be forced.
And I couldn't force it. I couldn't try to trust him. Like I couldn't force that trying to trust, because it wouldn't have been right or healthy. And though he desperately wanted it, and I could feel that, and like he would express that desire, I couldn't just produce it for him.
Like I'd say stuff, well, I need to have your trust. I need that.
Yeah.
And just coming to the reality and accepting the reality that neither one of us can just force it to make it happen. So, and then at that point, I mean, that's faith. I mean, faith in the Lord, just that He'll work it out, that He'll let that grow back, and He has, hasn't He?
So letting go is probably like the biggest first point of building trust from ground zero. And then secondly is the vulnerability and the beginning to listen and hear each other without judgment, without that presupposition or predisposed thing to this is bad, this is good. Just giving that other person
space.
Yeah, that's not the word I was thinking of, though. Giving that other person validation, I think, is what I was thinking for where they are and what they're saying and what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And, of course, along with that, especially with Tate, then for him to be able to become vulnerable, like to really open up, that was a huge trust builder to me. And I know, especially, I've heard this with men, especially, like they're afraid if they're more open, they will get less respect. They will be more despised. They will break the relationship further. But actually, that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
Because women actually feel more safe with details because their minds can land there. They don't have to fill it in with like these worst case scenarios or this or that. And even if it is the worst case scenario, it's still peaceful because they know the details and they've been told. And for some reason, I don't know if I can explain it, but that to a woman is huge and just gives her heart so much peace and rest. Pain, yeah, but rest and peace in the midst of it too.
Yeah, and maybe we can even just say pain does not equal pain does not equal tragedy. I mean, pain does not equal just
does not equal like it being bad.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say?
Yeah, pain
Yeah.
is just
Pain is right.
It is just
Pain
it's
is part.
pain. It's part of pain. So
Yeah.
it's still a journey. Like I'm
Yeah.
still learning how to be vulnerable. I'm still learning how to be transparent. There's layers to it too. But the more I can consistently be vulnerable and transparent and open and honest, and both of us, that honesty and just that transparency, the stronger the trust becomes, and the more that trust actually is built up.
And the more easy it's been for me then to really let go. Like I don't have to feel hovery over him or worried about him or what he's doing or whatever, because he has been consistent in his coming back to me. And that has been a huge part. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, because him coming to me has freed me up, but I also had to let go of like trying to force something or like make him trustworthy, if it, as you will, I guess you'd say. It's just that letting go in the midst of it.
Yeah, and I can say honestly, genuinely, honestly, and truthfully that the more I have felt her acceptance, just of like, okay, here's my mess. I'm being very open, very transparent, the more I've felt safe to do that, the more I've wanted to do that, the more I have, it's a good pattern. It's a good cycle. It's a healthy pattern. And to develop that, the more I do one, the more she is she's more positive, like her response, or not even response, but just the more on her side that of acceptance, of just understanding, of compassion even. I mean, the more I do that, it feeds off of each other, and it increases.
The more you share, the more I accept. The more I accept, the more you share.
Yeah. Isn't that a wise old bird or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hope that was clear. Again, just kind of recapping. Building trust from ground zero. 1, let go. Let go of like what you want, what you feel you need. Receive the reality. That all falls under letting go. And then opening up, being vulnerable. Those are like the first 2 steps.